Alright, this is the Tier 1 German cruiser, the Hermelin. Hang on just a second. Much better. This is a Tier 1 ship. It's one of the introductory ships that just about everybody gets, but it is one also that a lot of players find themselves always going back to. They hold on to it. There's a reason. This is an awfully fun ship. If you got this ship and you're new to World of Warships, this is one you're gonna like. I'm gonna spend a little extra time on this ship just to give you a little bit more info about the ship and how to read stats, what they mean, and how to work this ship. Now at this low tier, Tier 1, entry-level ships, there's not a lot of strategy involved. When you get to the higher tiers, then you have to really start putting some thought into how you drive your ship. You got to think about a lot of things. How you have the ship angled, where the enemy is located, how they're firing relative to you, the type of ship you're in, its strengths, its weaknesses, etc. But in this thing, the Hermelin, you basically just charge in and just start blasting the daylights out of everything. Except friends. Never shoot a friendly ship. She's a pretty good looking ship. Now, up in the upper right hand screen, you can see my mouse clicking on armor layout. And then I'm going to filter out the different levels of armor, leaving you with the Citadel. The Citadel is the most vital part of the ship. You take a hit there from, say, a battleship, it's gonna hurt you, because the shells on an enemy battleship are so gargantuan, man, it just punctures a hole right through you. And if it hits the Citadel, you know, that's where the ship's vitals are. It's gonna hurt. So let's take a look at how much armor you've got there. It's very low. Just put your mouse on it and you can see the Citadel armor belt is 35 millimeters there, 20 millimeters there, 9 millimeters there, 6 millimeters there. On a Tier 1 ship, that's not too bad. Now let's take a look at the guns. There are two guns, or two turrets, each turret with two guns, and they have 25 millimeters of armor on the front, 15 on the back. Alright, now on top of your Citadel there, you also have the deck. The deck armor, which is 9 millimeters and 23 millimeters. On top of that, you have the superstructure, 6 millimeters except the conning tower, which is 25. And then you have side plating, 6 millimeters, maybe a little more. Anyway, that's how you determine armor. When you have ships with a huge Citadel, you gotta bear in mind how that's gonna play for you. But this is just Tier 1. Nobody cares. You can just go blast away. Now her survivability, hit points, that's how many points of damage that she can take, and different types of gunfire, where they hit you and how fast they're going and what kind they are. All those factors key in to determine how much health you have, and how fast the hit points you have are minused away. And you'll be able to see as the battle unfolds that there's an indicator on the lower left of the screen that tells you how close you are to dying. Under survivability, on the right side of the screen, you've got artillery. So you can see her main battery, two turrets, each with two guns, 128 millimeters, with a maximum firing range of 9.9 kilometers. Hover your mouse over the main battery word, and out pops this little window tells you the reload time in seconds, how long it takes for the turrets to rotate, the maximum dispersion. Now, what that means is how far apart are your shells gonna be at maximum range. Now, that doesn't mean they're always gonna be 89. It just says the maximum they can be is 89 meters at maximum range. Now, as you get closer to your enemy, of course, your shots aren't gonna spray out that much. And then HE shells means high explosive. There are two types of shells: armor piercing, high explosive. When you get into the higher tiers, there are others, but we'll just stick with this for the time being. The damage that they can do on a good hit is 900 points. And then there's always a chance of setting something on fire if you're firing high explosive at it. 5% chance. Maximum range 9.9. And the shell velocity 900 meters per second, which is actually pretty fast. Alright, let's move on to AA defense. Now, for a tier 1 ship, this thing's got a ton of AA defense. There are tier 3 ships out there with none. You're not likely to need it, but it's nice to have it. So she's got 2 turrets, each with 2 guns, 128 millimeter, and a maximum range of 5.2 kilometers. Maybe if you'll get lucky, you can hit somebody with those. Then she's got 3 turrets, each with 2 guns at 37 millimeters, with a 0.9 kilometer range, and then the 20 millimeter guns, which are quite common, 0.6 kilometer range. So yeah, they're close range only. Her maneuverability, her maximum speed is 24 knots. Her turning circle is 360 meters, and her rudder shift time is 3.3 seconds. Now, the rudder shift, what that means is how long does it take for the rudder to go to a maximum turn to the left to a maximum turn on the right, or vice versa. 3.3 seconds is really darn good. In fact, I think it's the best in the game. Might be wrong, but this thing can turn on a dime. Alright, 24 knots isn't half bad either. There are ships out there slower. And the concealment, detectability range by sea, 8.6 kilometers. Yes, that means on your first shot, you can fire your guns while the enemy cannot see you, to the tune of 1.3 kilometers. But realize when you fire your guns, your detectability range by sea and air goes up quite a bit. Alright. Those are what the numbers mean. Now I'm going to right click on my captain and bring up the personnel file. Your captain has certain skills that as you gain experience you can buy these skills. So you can click on each one of these skills to get a description of what they are. I'm just going to tell you what my captain has. Preventative maintenance. It just reduces the likelihood that the various components of the ship will become incapacitated. And then expert marksman, plus 2.5 degrees to traverse speed of guns with the caliber up to 139 millimeters. The Hermelin has got smaller guns than that. I almost went with last stand. I have that on most of my ships, because when you lose steering or you lose engines, being able to still steer and go places can save your life. If you could become a dead in the water, you're hurting. And then the next skill I have is fire training. It reduces by 10% the reload time of my main batteries because they are below 139 millimeter. Now if you see my captain 3/9 there, that means I've got 3 more points, but the next level on the scale is 4 points, so I really need to get another point before I buy anything at the 4-point level. But I could buy something at 3, 2, or no, another one at 1 if I wanted to. Alright, so let's move on back to port. And the modules, as well as a captain being able to get upgraded, you can also upgrade the ship. For the Hermelin, the only thing you can upgrade is the gunfire control system. Currently it is upgraded on this ship, but if I downgraded it back to stock, you would have a 9-kilometer range instead of a 9.9 kilometer range. When you get into the higher tiers, the benefits are much greater. Under upgrades, down below, there's only 1 slot. Some ships have 2, some 3, some 4, and some 5. And you can really modify your ship to build it to do certain things. This ship, I just went with main armaments. That's what most people do. You can click on it and it will tell you what it does. So before going into battle, I can make little modifications to the ship. So I'm going to put on some camouflage to the ship. By putting on this camouflage, you'll have -3% to the detectability range, and then you get that really cool paint job. It'll wash off after the battle. Then you got flag signals. Flag signals modify small things about your ship, but taken together they do add up. So here's a flag that I'm putting on that's going to increase the likelihood of me starting a fire on somebody else's ship by 1%. There's another flag which pretty much does the same thing. There's a flag which gives me 300% more experience earned in the battle. There's one that gives me plus 20% to the credits earned in battle. Not experience, but credits. Silver, in other words. In the upper right hand of the corner, you'll see that I have doubloons, credits, and convert XP. The 20% is just for the credits. Currently at like 11,272,831. And alright, I think we're ready to go to battle. So I'm going to click the red battle button, and off we go. So you can see the team layout. Your team is on the left always, the enemy team is on the right always. You can click on team members, mission, and divisions. Divisions are quite a long explanation. The mission is usually straightforward. On the bottom of the screen, you can start the battle once you're finished looking around at this screen. And now you can use your mouse to look around. Left mouse is fire. Right mouse will let the guns point where you were looking while you look around. Otherwise, the guns are always going to look where you are looking. On the lower right of the screen, you got a mini map showing A red circle, that's the enemy capture zone, and the green circle, your capture zone. Name of the game on this type of map: kill every enemy, or kill none of the enemies but retake that cap, or take the cap. That's one way you can win. On the lower left of your screen, you see the green outline of the ship. That's your health bar indicator. As you get damage, that health bar will go down. And then there's the compass, and of course your throttle indicator. Throttle is controlled by the letter W or the letter S, and then A and D to turn your rudder. So by just moving the mouse around, you can look around. You can see the turrets rotate. You can see the rudder move. On the bottom of the screen, you see the box that says HE and the number 1. That's high explosive ammo. To select it, you press the number 1. If the thing had AP ammo, there'd be another box down there with the letters AP and the number 2. The letter R is repair. If you get on fire, get flooding, or other types of damage, that R can save you. And then the horizontal bars, they tell you the position of your gun turrets. Are they ready to fire, and are they pointing where you're looking? In the middle of the screen, you can see the 2 circles and the square. The circles represent the barrels of the guns, and the square represents where you're looking. Okay, on the far horizon, say about 4 miles away, you'll see the light line. That's the edge of the gameplay map. Now you saw the exclamation point and the word detected pop up. That means they've spotted me. So I'm turning. The nearest circle means I have targeted them, and now I'm clicking and firing. And I'm also on the rudder. They are firing at me. Now to zoom in, you just press the left shift button. You're going to get to know that real quick. On the right side of the screen are the things that you're doing to the enemy team and ships. It's telling you when you hit them, it's telling them when you sink them, it's telling them when you set them on fire, etc. Notice that I am leading the enemy ship. You have to fire ahead of the enemy so that your rounds arrive where they are going to be. Not where they are, but where they are going to be, because they're moving, and so are you. You can also see the health bar above the enemy getting smaller and smaller. And this guy is gone. You can also see my health bar on the lower left is about half gone. I'm about half dead. On the top of the screen, you'll see a bunch of symbols that indicate how many ships there are left alive and what type of ships. A triangle is a destroyer. The symbols you see up there with a single diagonal line through them, those are cruisers. 2 diagonal lines would be battleship. And then you also have point scores below that. You gain points based on the amount of damage you inflict, not how many kills you earn. The kill is only earned by the person who delivered the final blow. And by the time you get into tier 6 and 7, if you have to work your way up it instead of just buying a tier 6 or 7 ship, you'll find out that the number of sinkings that you cause really isn't that important. It's how much damage per battle you can inflict. That is how you win. And there are other strategies that help you win too. I've seen people win a battle by going into the enemy's capture zone. That's what I'm doing right now. I've just gone into the enemy base and not kill anybody, and took top score. And got him.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
After the battle, the results screens will pop up telling you how much experience you have and the types of things that you did. I did 7 Citadel hits. Remember the Citadel? Well, I scored 7 hits against enemy Citadels. I scored 43 hits. I incapacitated 5 modules, sunk 3, started 1 fire, and you can see the other numbers there. And you click on team score up top and you can see how well you did relative to the rest of your team and who didn't make it. Under detailed report, you can hold the mouse over each ship that you saw or shot at or more, and you can see the numbers about what you did to them. I'm just going to go ahead and blast through that. You can also see summary numbers there, telling you all kinds of statistics. Now if you hold the mouse over the artillery line, you can see a pop-up window of the types of damage you took from enemy ships, what type of ships they were, how many times they hit you, and for how much damage. Under credits and XP, this one is a bit confusing because it looks like you've got 2 screens going. Well, you do. On the left, those would be your scores if you had a standard account. But I have a premium account, so my numbers are on the right, and the ones on the right are highlighted. You get more silver, you get more credits, you get more experience if you run a premium account, but that costs money. This is a game for free. And you can look at the numbers there, and you can expand or collapse a few of them. Get a better idea of how your numbers were modified. And then when you're done, you can go back to battle if you want. Take a look at your commander, or go back to port, which is what I'm going to do. Oh, and if you get enough experience, you get to collect in the upper left hand a container. Containers are very cool. These are gifts that you'll be getting, and you can select a container that has more credits in it, like silver, or if you're lucky, doubloons, or experience. If you click on signals and camouflage, that's where you get the flags and the fancy paint jobs. Consumables. Tier 1, you really don't get any of these, but when you start getting into the higher ships, you can get a better repair crew, or a better spotter aircraft, or a better smoke screen, or better radar. This one is used by players in the higher tiers. And then there's, of course, try your luck, which is you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to go with signals and camouflage. And then you have to select open the container. And boom, you got a couple of things that popped up. All you got to do is put your mouse on them to get a description of what they are and do. That one increases the likelihood of causing flooding, and a little increase to my ship's magazine detonation, which is never good. But yeah, I do have ships that run torpedoes, and if you have a ship that has torpedoes, you really like this one, because the torpedoes have a much better chance of causing flooding. There are some ships that have a torpedo belt, and torpedoes can't always get through those. Then another thing I got is Juliet Charlie, which reduces the risk of my ship's magazine detonation by 100%. Now that's really good if you're in something thin-skinned and you're going up against a battleship, because a battleship can just blow you to tiny little shreds. You gotta be careful how you deal with them. And then it's another type of camouflage, and you can see what it does there. And then back to port. Now if you decide to expand beyond just the couple types of battles, you can also select combat missions, challenges, and events up on the upper left. There's quite a few different combat missions you can select, and if you hold your mouse over that little square, up will pop a window telling you what the reward is. And there's a lot of different missions. A lot of them. Hello. Okay. Click, click, click. There we go. Alright, Tides of March. Oh, I've got some progress on that one. But March ends in 2 days. So I don't think I'm gonna get that. There are also challenges that you can go for, but they're not always active. And then there are midweek events that you can click on and partake of, maybe learn a bit more about. And when you're done reading, just click escape. There are also campaigns. I have a video on campaigns, but I'm not going to really get too much in. Oh, collect rewards. I'm really not going to get too much into these, because there's a whole nother video going over what these things are, how they work. Basically, it's a set of challenges that you have to meet. If you meet the challenge, you win a reward. Anyway, that is it for the Hermelin Tier 1 German cruiser. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have fun.